you've now all revived your character by a miracle, and I'm sure in the comments, Ted, that you're going to find a bunch of people angrily typing, "You can't do that!" if they actually read the rules of Dread, because you're really not supposed to be able to do that. But to those people, I will respond now by saying they made twice as many pulls as was done to get there. I let it go. Okay,
yourself,
I used my discretion as a GM to let it go. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did anyway. So you guys are getting there. Maybe
hurt, you're just tired, right?
Yeah,
well, he has a bump on his head. Yeah. So you get there. It's about 15 minutes before sunset. You see actually a very beautiful little area. It's basically, you see a river coming in to your left, and you just see basically a clearing in a field in front of you. The river is not going too fast. If you're a river rafting nerd, it would probably be like a 1, at most maybe a shallow 2 in terms of grading for how rapid it's going. But it's just basically it's a large brook, you could call it. And in the field there's a few trees, and you see general areas marked with little wooden signposts saying like 1, 2, 3 going along the river, and then coming back up the other side toward a tree line. Because you basically have a field in front of you, have a tree line to your right, to the far right, and you have your river off to the left. And it is flowing toward you. It is flowing toward where you came from as well.
So we're at the campsite, and it's got tents and stuff all set up, right? Or do we have to set those up?
No, there are no tents here.
I can set up the tents.
Yeah,
Did anyone bring a tent is the question.
Oof.
Technically, I brought everybody's tents.
Well, technically, you didn't actually list that you had brought tents, but I'm going to assume that somebody brought a goddamn tent.
I'm a drider. I can weave silk. Technically, I brought everybody's tents.
Just make a bunch of lean-tos.
So you're gonna make a bunch of tents? How long does that take you to make?
If I make one large tent, probably, I'd say about an hour.
Well, okay, you can do that if you want. Okay. Just keep in mind that it's 15 minutes to sunset.
I have a flashlight.
Okay.
And... Alright, so I'm gonna get to work on weaving up a really big tent.
Alright. So
given
he
that
kind of goes off to the side and he starts weaving.
Given that Des is the one setting up the tent,
I've got an idea. Wait. We get like sticks and twigs and brush from around the area and start a small fire because I brought a lighter with me. So we make the small fire, and that's enough for him to weave without the light. And then
he has a flashlight. He has a flashlight he can use too. But
my plan was we make
off to the side.
My plan was we make the fire and he uses that, and we get the light so we can go get more brush because there's only going to be so much around the fire.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, so you could start a small fire if you wanted to do that. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's not the only one carrying a flashlight, but that makes sense. But yeah, so you do that. It's not, and it's not kicking off a ton of light, but it is enough to work by because you have done this many times. Now, Desix, are you where in general are you? Are you closer to the tree line? Are you in the middle somewhere?
I'm probably gonna sit close to the somewhere between the tree line and the fire, off to one side so I'm not in the way, but I'm still within the clearing.
So you're okay. Now the trail is continuing up, presumably to your right, if you're in between the tree line and the fire. Because I'm assuming the fire is toward the middle. Are you close to the trail?
No.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So you continue weaving, and so how big are you going to try and make this fire, Bucko?
Big enough to light up the whole clearing. Which is, well, actually, let's just do it to where we can, have enough room to see.
Okay. Well, what I'll do then
just your average fire.
Any of you three are going to make 2 pulls. One to find the proper amount of brush and the proper sized brush, and logs at that point if you want to have it where it's actually kicking off a good amount of light.
Like a brush fire.
And a second just to be able to handle the fire properly and not kill it, basically.
Alright, so let me see if I can do the first one. Go.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you work as a team, and Claire is really the one leading the charge, and she's like, oh, you know, you don't even know where you found this kind of expertise, really, but you kind of realize that you need to work your way up in a gradient to a certain size, and you do that, and you lead both Bucko and Nick to getting to a good gradient of leaves and twigs, and eventually logs, small logs.
And now for the maintenance of the fire.
Yeah, you come back with all the materials, and you use Bucko's lighter, and well, actually, no, the fire's already lit. So you realize, again, that it's just a gradient, what you need to do. You need to just kind of build it up little by little, and by the time it gets, I'll say that maybe, because let's say you found the stuff maybe within 20 minutes of it getting dark, 15 minutes of it getting dark, and within the time that it took for the tent to be made, you have a respectable fire that's lighting up a good 15, 20-foot radius. So now you have a basic 4-man tent and made of spider silk, and you have a good fire, and it's dark out.
All right. It should only take me about 5 more minutes. I'm gonna weave a quick net, since I know that there's the river there, and I'm gonna see about catching some fish for food.
That's a good idea.
Okay, I'll say that it takes, about 5 minutes, whatever, to weave the net. But if you want fish, I'm gonna have you make a pull.
Okay, that's fine.
You're not the best fisherman in the world. You're just leaving a net at the river and just hoping that a fish accidentally swims into it. And it takes a good 5-10 minutes. This is not a river that's just teeming with trout or anything, but after a good maybe 10-15 minutes, you do find a trout that just accidentally swam in, and you immediately pick it up and just slap it in the net.
So wait, Nico, you're more of an intellectual?
Yep.
Perhaps you would know if you could find any herbs that would naturally grow in this area that we could use to cook the fish with.
You know what? That's not that bad of an idea.
Just, don't get any poisonous ones, because you'll probably kill us all.
I mean, you're not a particular herbalist, so to speak. I mean, you're more into sciences and mathematics. But let me look at the other sheets real fast. I mean, judging Desix that you're into fishing and stuff like that, I would be willing, and you're into first aid, I'd be willing to say that you have a general of plants. So he might not be able to find particular medicinal plants, but he would probably...
And you gotta think about the area we're in.
Yeah, I mean, there's not kind of medicinal plants around.
Would have.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. I'm legitimately asking, would you know of any, plants or anything that might grow in the area, like, sage or wild onions, stuff like that?
I mean, he probably wouldn't know that inherently. He really deals more in electric and whatnot. But I mean, this doesn't seem like your first rodeo. You might know of like a plant or two.
Yeah.
He would probably still need to be able to make a pull though in order to.
Like berries.
Yeah.
Common knowledge on berries.
Yeah, like he could probably find berries and shit like that and know what if you tell him.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, wait. He's got a notepad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Oh, we need to do the map.
Yeah, if we could do the map, but I could also draw like kind of what the leaf, like a leaf or something that I'm looking for would look like, and be like, here, go find this.
Okay.
So do we have to? I have to roll to get like an accurate representation of the map drawn.
Oh no.
Or...
I mean, it's a very simple trail in. You follow the trail and then just come off at one point. So you could do that with that.
Yeah.
So I need to pull to find these bears or whatever?
Yeah, I would say that in order to pull, you do.
Alright, pulling.
So it takes you a while, but you dig around in the forest and you get, I mean, I would say maybe even 7 minutes. You find a decent little bush, and so you get, I mean, you make a couple of trips. The additional trips take like an additional 5 minutes or so, and you bring a few good handfuls. As a note, guys, there are You notice that surrounding the camp for a good maybe 1,000 feet to a half mile are only oak trees. There are pine trees within the area. You just go pretty far outside the site in order to find them, if you are looking for pine trees in particular. So you guys are now, it's getting pretty late again, like 2100 hours or so, and you're in camp. You're all set and ready to go. You have some good trout. I mean, the fire's not necessarily dying down, but it's not at its peak per se. What do you want to keep doing? Or do you want to go to bed? Because you can do that too.
Okay, so we figured out that the moon's phase is full.
Yes, it is a full moon.
Are we all just going to go to sleep, or do we feel like setting a watch would be a good idea?
If we're setting a watch, I could probably do the first 2 or 3 hours.
Well, I guess we are all still freaked out about the
possession that just happened. Yeah. So I mean, a watch would totally.
I would be sleeping separate, or as far away, because paranoia.
So you want to sleep in a separate accommodation? There's no tent. I mean, if you want to, you could
just like on the other side of the tent for it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh no! We did check the fire first. Make sure it's not gonna go out of control or run out for a couple hours.
Well, that's why I recommended we sleep in shifts so that I could watch the fire and keep it going for a while. I think that Desix should get some rest, though, given that he has been pretty worn out today.
Oh yeah, he's not gonna get a watch.
So I figure if we all take 3 hours, that's 9 hours of sleep, right there. Well,
that's 6 hours of sleep for
each of us,
for
but
most
not for
of us.
you.
But for you,
it's gonna be 9.
I would say 9 hours. That way, we have you at full strength and not like on your face.
So who's on first watch?
I'll take first.
I'll take second watch.
Okay.
I'll do the last, I guess.
Okay. You hear. Now this is not at the beginning. This is your friends go up to bed and they're sleeping in the tent. You're kind of around the fire and you're tending the fire. And probably 2 hours in, you hear what sounds like a very large buck calling.
You could.
No. I could try and wake one of you up, or I could go investigate it, but that would mean leaving all 3 of you here.
I don't advise walking off into the woods at night while you're pregnant and alone.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I do not advise that.
I'll do it.
Just being pregnant is bad luck enough.
Bucko knows the area and has been here multiple times. I should probably wake him up first.
You could do that. Your character would know that he claims he knows the area. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause if I walk off alone, I'll get lost immediately. So I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, of course. And it's night too, which is worse.
It's nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
So
the only good thing that we have going for us, as per it being night and dark, is that it is the full moon. So visibility is actually going to be a lot better than if it had been like a new moon.
It would be enough to where we could see like the outline of large things.
Yeah.
No colors really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that, and then I guess the pair of us can go explore in the direction of the sound that we heard.
Okay. So Bucko, you're in the tent, and you just suddenly feel shaking on your legs as you're on the side of the tent, and you see Claire kind of looking at you with a slightly nervous look on her face.
Okay, so I roll over and ask, "What's up? What's up, B?"
Well, so I don't mean to alarm you, but I definitely heard something that sounded like a deer, and it sounded pretty spooked. I think we should go check it out.
Did you hear anything else?
Not really. The thing that's worrying me is that it wasn't anything. It didn't sound like a deer that was calm. It sounded like it had been spooked by something, like, I don't want to say like big, but certainly threatening.
Oh. Now, as you say this, you don't know where it's from the same general direction. You're not seeing anything about it per se, but you hear what sounds like a massive tree fall.
Oh shit.
Well, since I was already kind of worried about what she would have heard, I would immediately be woken up by a shot of adrenaline, so I'm not groggy or anything like that. And I sort of get up onto my haunches and step out and look around. What do I see?
A very dimly, barely lit because of the moon, basically glaring. You have a brook. I'm assuming you faced the flap toward the brook or the river.
Yeah.
So you see the river.
Okay, so I go all the way out and stare the direction we came from with the fire to my back, so the glare is not affecting my view.
I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah, well, you can go see it and you can die.
One. You know what?
You're gonna go brawl with something that took a tree down. Good luck.
I'm finna hard pull.
You're just gonna pull. Okay,
Nice job.
that's fine. Is there? What were you trying to? You're just gonna.
I just want to go look at it.
You don't know exactly where to go.
I want you to look at it.
Claire, where did you hear it from? And you realize that the direction of the tree is a little bit different than where the direction she heard the animal was from. It was off maybe a good 15 degrees from where you're standing, and you basically just prounce off in a straight line. You realize if it's a deer that you kind of need to be a little bit quiet.
I thought you said Claire.
You realize that it's a deer skittish, so you're taking it a little bit slow, and you're not the most physically perfect person in the world. So maybe like a half an hour in, you don't know exactly how far you've gone, but you've passed back into pine trees. And you're not really on a trail of any particular sort. You don't have a ton of light, but you have the little residual light that's coming from the full moon that you've got. And you come not really to a clearing, but to just an area where there's no trees for whatever reason. And you see in silhouette just a massive buck. It sees you, and it comes slightly towards you, and you don't know why it does this, but it bucks its head to your left twice, and then it runs off to the right.
Do I chase after the deer?
That's up to you. You can do whatever you want.
I'm gonna do that.
And you're alone. You keep a good distance, and you follow behind the deer. And you follow it for a good amount of time. It's going quite a bit faster than you, but you're able to you're losing it, but you're not entirely lost it, because you were relatively close. You were within probably 100 feet when it first went off. And you're kind of just following it, and it's kind of bobbing and weaving its way through the woods. And you come maybe within about a mile or so. You come to the trail. You see the animal come out on the trail, and you're just off the trail, I'm assuming, unless you want to go up to it. And all of a sudden, you see it looking both ways, as if looking for something, and in front of it is a downed pine tree. Not entirely, it's not wide enough to make the trail impassable, but it's across the trail. And it looks off both ways, and it goes over the log and off to slightly to its right, but just onto the other side of the trail. Do you continue?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's coming around, and you keep following it for probably a good other 3/4 of a mile. At this point, I'm gonna ask for a pull from camp. So from either Claire or from Bucko, or Dresix.
Wait, what?
I'm still asleep.
You're still asleep, so for you it would have to be 2 pulls. So from somebody in the camp that's...
I got it.
Now, you don't know what it is, but you're kind of just watching around the fire. You're nervous because you don't know exactly what's going on. But you see off toward the trail, you're not sure what it is, but you see what appears to be some kind of animalistic head with horns.